That night, I took my wife to a party, the kind filled with music, laughter, and the easy charm that makes time slip away unnoticed. She looked beautiful, effortlessly so, the way she always did when she wanted every eye in the room to find her. I remember thinking, as we walked in, that it would be just another night. Friends, drinks, the usual idle chatter that fades as quickly as it fills the air. I wore a calm expression, one that hid every flicker of uncertainty I refused to acknowledge. As the evening unfolded, I watched her laugh, not at my words, but at someone else's. She leaned closer to men I didn't know, her voice soft and familiar in a way that didn't belong to me anymore. At first, I brushed it off. It was just the atmosphere, I told myself, the flirtation that floats around crowded rooms like perfume. But then, she was gone. One moment she was beside me, and the next, she had vanished into the blur of people and sound. I searched calmly, pretending not to care, and then I saw her, in a dim corner, speaking to a man whose presence seemed to hold her completely. It wasn't dramatic, no shouting or scenes, just a quiet realization that something fundamental had shifted. I knew, with a strange sense of stillness, that she wasn't coming back to me. Not that night, and perhaps not ever. I didn't make a scene. I didn't demand answers or lash out. I simply watched, feeling the truth settle deep inside me like a cold, steady breath. When she finally returned to leave, I followed. The car ride home was steeped in silence, not awkward, but final. There was nothing left to say. Her choices had already spoken for her. I thought about the trust I'd given her so easily, the countless small moments that built the illusion of something lasting, and how quickly they'd been undone. I could have shouted. I could have broken things, demanded explanations, begged for honesty. But I didn't. I understood, in that quiet drive, that true strength lies not in fury, but in composure. When we arrived home, I hung my coat and sat in the stillness of our living room. The silence no longer felt empty. It was a space where I could think, where I could reclaim myself. Every laugh she had shared with someone else, every word left unsaid between us, became part of a story I now told alone. And in that moment, I made a choice. I wouldn't chase her. I wouldn't ask her to stay. I wouldn't fight for what had already been lost. I decided to let the consequences of her choices play out on their own. The next morning, I rose early, brewed some coffee, and calmly went over my plans for the week. I reviewed my tasks, organized my schedule, and made sure that nothing she had done would interfere with the life I had built through purpose and discipline. When she finally came back hours later, her expression searching for guilt or anger in me, I met her gaze with quiet composure. She was expecting outrage, maybe a confrontation or tears. Instead, I gave her nothing. My stillness hit harder than any argument ever could. That was the moment I understood what real revenge meant. It wasn't about punishing her. It was about proving that her actions had no power over me. My life was still mine, untouched and unwavering. As the days went by, I let things find their own rhythm. She made small attempts to explain, to offer half-hearted apologies, but I met them with the same steady calm. I didn't owe her an explanation. I didn't need to show pain to validate my strength. Every word she spoke only reminded me that true control came from moving forward, not dwelling in what was lost. I turned my energy inward, back to my routines, my work, and the friendships I had let fade while chasing her fleeting attention. About a week later, I heard she was seen with him again, laughing as though nothing had happened. This time, I simply smiled, not from spite, but from understanding. The best revenge, I realized, wasn't anger or retaliation. It was living well, fully, and freely, while she came to see what she had given up. Every quiet success, every moment of peace, became its own message, stronger than any accusation could ever be. By the end of the month, everything had settled. She had moved on, but I had already taken back everything she had disrupted. My peace, my dignity, my balance. Her betrayal hadn't broken me. It had refined me. In the end, I understood that revenge was never about payback. It was about calm strength, self-respect, and the decision to rise above. She had chosen to leave, and I had chosen to grow. The night she walked away wasn't really about her, or him, or even the end of our marriage. It was the night I finally discovered the quiet power of self-control, the strength found in silence, in steady purpose, and in never letting someone else's chaos define your life.